Hey, it's everyone, and this week I have pack-filled episodes of the Disney Roundup because I'm going to be going over and recapping everything that was announced at the 2019 D23 Expo. But on today's episode, I'm going to be going over some of the things that we saw that were shown on Thursday afternoon and the Disney Legend ceremony, followed by the Disney Plus panel and everything that was announced during that on Friday. I have all that coming up right here on the DRU. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Disney Roundup, where I bring you up to date on what's going on with the Walt Disney Company and Disney Parks each and every single week. But today and this week's episodes are going to be a little bit different because the D23 Expo was just this past weekend, so I'm going to be covering all of that. But if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me so you can stay up to date and receive the Disney Roundup each and every single week. But like I mentioned before, on this episode, I'm going to be going over what was shown on Thursday, some of the Disney Legend ceremony, and everything that was announced during the Disney Plus panel. Alright, and to kick things off, as we know, coming to Epcot is a lot of changes and new attractions in the future, but they had a display at the D23 Expo showing some of them, and one of them is a new Moana attraction, which it hasn't been confirmed yet, but it seems like it's going to be a walkthrough attraction called Moana Journey of Water. There's also new symbols and posters coming to Epcot, and there was a new to be attraction that was shown during the expo that was announced on Sunday, which I'll be going over and covering in a future episode of the Disney Roundup, so stay tuned for that. There's also an Epcot experience coming to the Odyssey Pavilion. So like I said, we already know there's a lot of changes coming to Epcot in the near future. Epcot is transforming in a way I never thought it would, and I'm really looking forward to that, but stay tuned for a future episode of the Disney Roundup because they announced during the Parks panel a lot of new changes coming to Epcot. We also get a look at the D23 Expo, what the Tron coaster cars will look like, and they're similar. There is another Tron coaster, I believe it's over at Disneyland Shanghai or Disneyland. It's one of the international parks that already has this coaster that they're currently building in Magic Kingdom. It's pretty much a replica, but what you can see from this car, it looks like you're going to be leaning over on this cycle-like vehicle and a little flap that's going to be covering your back up so you don't roll out and fall out of the vehicle. But this looks really cool. I'm really interested to see how this ride turns out. I've heard great things about this ride, and it should be a nice addition over at the Magic Kingdom. Another thing that was confirmed, that the Marvel themed land that will be taking over where Bug's Life used to be over at Disney California Adventure will be called the Avengers Campus. Now, a couple attractions have been confirmed for this already. Of course, the Spider-Man attraction and the Ant-Man microbrewery, but the whole land itself will be called the Avengers Campus. Another thing that was shown is that the Star Wars hotel over at Walt Disney World beside Hollywood Studios will be called the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. And again, this was covered in more detail on Sunday during the Parks panel, so again, stay tuned for a future episode of the Disney Roundup as I'll be covering that as well. And lastly, the ride vehicles were shown for Mickey's Runaway Railway, the new attractions coming to Walt Disney World and Disneyland. They will be held at Walt Disney World over at Hollywood Studios, where the Great Movie Ride used to be, and the one in Disneyland will be put over in Mickey's Toontown. Right, and now just to touch on the Disney Legend ceremony. And for those who don't know, the Disney Legend ceremony is kind of like Disney's Hall of Fame ceremony, where they recognize and induct Disney cast members, crew members, actors, actresses, TV personalities, all across the board, people who work for the Walt Disney Company, and acknowledge them for all of their hard work in pushing the envelope of creativity. And some of the members of the class this year, the notable names were, of course, Robert Downey Jr., Robin Roberts, Jon Favreau, Diane Sawyer, and Christina Aguilera, who I believe performed during the ceremony as well. So that's really cool, and congratulations to all of them as Disney legends. Alright, now to start off with the Disney Plus panel. Now, before I get into any of the announced content, I just want to make note that a really cool deal was offered if you were at the D23 Expo and you had the opportunity to go ahead and sign up for Disney Plus. And if you did, you could sign up for a 3-year commitment. And during that time, you could save 23% during those years of being a Disney Plus member. And you also received a pin that labeled you as one of the founding fathers, or no, it's Founder's Circle pin. So that's pretty cool as well. Now to get into some of the announcements that were made during this panel. First, as we mentioned in last week's episode of the Disney Roundup, Lady and the Tramp live action will be coming to Disney Plus and will be available on November 12th, the launch date of the streaming service. And they revealed a trailer during the panel, which I will leave a link to that in the description down below. And I got to thinking with this movie and a couple other movies that they announced, and it seems like with this live action and maybe a few others that they're using the Disney Plus as a almost direct, straight to DVD sort of thing, instead of, you know, how back in the day they would send movies, instead of going to them to theaters, they would put them straight to DVD. Kind of like a lot of, outside of the first Lilo and Stitch, like Stitch Has a Glitch, Leroy and Stitch, all of those were straight to DVDs. So it seems like movies that they don't think will be tremendously successful in the box office, they were going to straight to Disney Plus. Now another movie that was announced is Noelle, and this will be starring Anna Kendrick, who is playing Kris Kringle's daughter, and her brother Nick is taking over playing Santa and leaves when he feels the pressure behind it. She goes out on an adventure looking for him to return and to save Christmas. And this will come out just before the holiday season. This will come out on November 12th as well with the launch of Disney Plus. And there was a short clip or trailer that was released with this, and I will leave that in the description down below as well. And big news, especially if you were growing up in the 90s and watched Disney Channel, and that is Lizzie McGuire is returning and coming to Disney Plus. Hilary Duff appeared during the Disney Plus panel announcing that she's reprising her childhood role of Lizzie McGuire. In this series, Lizzie is all grown up and working as an apprentice for a fancy New York City decorator, and she's living in Brooklyn and is about to turn 30, but is still under the same character and mindset that she was when she was a kid. So I know a lot of people are excited for this. I'm kind of looking forward to it as well. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. And just a couple of months ago, Marvel Studios announced at the San Diego Comic-Con a slew of upcoming movies and TV series that were coming to the Disney Plus. And at the D23 Expo, they announced 3 more series from MCU that will be coming. One will be Miss Marvel, another will be Moon Knight, and She-Hulk will all be series that will be coming to the Disney Plus. No other details or release dates have been announced yet for these series, but look for them coming in the future. Disney Plus will also have some unscripted TV shows that you'll be able to watch on there. One of them being called Be Our Chef, which is set to debut late in 2019, which will be starring Angela Kinsley from The Office. And this is about giving families a chance to create the next great Disney Parks dish in a cooking competition that will actually be held at Walt Disney World. So this sounds pretty cool. This has my attention, and I think Disney has the right mindset of putting cooking shows on here, and a competition cooking show that will actually be happening at Walt Disney World. Another unscripted TV show that we'll be adding is called Encore. And this is a series that brings back former high school classmates, tasking them to recreate their original high school performance with a reunion like no other. And this is being produced by Kristen Bell and is set to debut along with the Disney Plus on November 12th as well. Following that, right from the Muppet Studio, Muppets Now will be the other unscripted TV series that will be coming to Disney Plus. This will debut sometime in 2020, and it seems like this show will be very similar to the Muppet Show and have a lot of cool skits and bits and feature celebrity guests just like it did in the classic show. Other TV series that were announced are The World According to Jeff Goldblum. And yes, this is going to debut on November 12th as well. And I will leave a link in the description to the trailer for this. The series comes from Nat Geo Today, and it is about visiting places of the mind of Jeff Goldblum. Now, Star Wars fans, first off, the announcement was made that within Disney Plus's first year, that the entire Star Wars movie universe will be available on the Disney Plus. And another cool thing that is coming is Return of the Clone Wars TV series. And no further details on this, but this will debut sometime in 2020. Now, for what I'm looking forward to the most is The Mandalorian. This will be the first Star Wars live-action series only on the Disney Plus. It will debut November 12th and will take place in the time frame 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and I can't get over how good this looks. I will leave a link to the trailer in the description down below. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch. This looks fantastic, and I can't wait for that. And lastly, during this panel, one of the big surprises that was announced is that there will be an Obi-Wan series coming to Disney Plus. Now, there's been rumor and speculation that there would be a Obi-Wan movie coming in the future, but now they are going with a TV series. And during this announcement, Ewan McGregor, who was the original Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, was there to make the announcement, and I'm so glad that they got him. And he looks great. He looks just like he did years ago too, which is fantastic. But no set launch date has been set for this yet, and production is set to start next year in 2020. But I would expect that this series will be debuting on the Disney Plus probably late 2021 time. So stay tuned and stay up to date with the Disney Roundup for future announcements on that. Alright everyone, that's all I have for you on this episode, recapping the first 2 days of the D23 Expo. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button for me and subscribe to my channel, especially for future upcoming D23 recap videos. I'll be recapping on Saturday when they went behind the scenes on future projects coming out of the Walt Disney Studios. So that's future movies from Marvel, Lucasfilm, Pixar, and Walt Disney Studios. And I'll also be doing a recap of everything that was announced during the Parks and Experiences panel. So subscribe and stay tuned for that. Until next time, we'll see you on the DRU.